Welcome to the story, Julia Goes to the Library. The alarm went off and Julia sat straight up in bed. It was a beautiful sunny day, and today Julia gets to go to the library. Mom called her down for breakfast. She got dressed quickly and ran down the stairs and greeted Mom with a smile. "Good morning," she said to Mom. "Thank you for fixing breakfast for me." She went over to the table, hopped up in the chair, and started to eat her breakfast. But first she said her blessing. She bowed her head and said, "Thank you, Jesus, for this food. Help me as I go throughout my day." And then she began to eat. She wanted to eat quickly so she could go back upstairs, brush her teeth, and make up her bed. She made up her bed just as Mom had always taught her. Then she put her stuffed animals on her bed. Julia didn't even take time to put her book bag on her back. She just slung it over her shoulder and down the stairs she went so she could head off to school. When they got to the librarian, Miss CaCa, greeted them. As the students entered the library, Miss CaCa said, "Welcome, students. I am so glad you're here. Please have a seat on the benches." Julia and the other students in her class settled down. Miss CaCa began to speak once everyone was seated. "Hello, everyone. Welcome to the Whitmore Community School Library. I will be here to help you with all of your library needs." CaCa went on to say, "Since this is your first time coming to the library, I would like to go over rules with you so we all have a great year. Next week, we will start getting a book to take home." All of the students sat quietly listening. They were all fascinated with her blue hair. Julia was disappointed. She really wanted to select a book to take home today, but Julia understood that rules were important. And with everyone following the same rules, things always went smoother and safer. But Julia just loved reading because you can learn a lot about new things, and a book can even make you feel like you're at a different place while you're reading. "So," Miss CaCa started, "let's go over the rules now. Library rules. Rule number 1. No talking in the library, and if you absolutely must say something, use your very lowest indoor voice. Rule number 2. Always make sure your hands are clean, so you will keep the books free of any stains or dirt. Rule number 3. No gum, no candy, or food is allowed in the library. Rule number 4. Books you check out and take home should be looked after responsibly and returned the next week. Rule number 5. When going back to your classroom, you line up quietly and walk silently in the hall with no pushing and no running. And the last rule, and rule number 6, is probably the very most important rule, and that is enjoy your library time. Once the rules were explained, Miss CaCa asked the students if they had any questions, and if they did, to raise their hand, and she would call on them. Fred raised his hand. CaCa knew all the students' names because even though this was their first library visit, CaCa went to the preschool classrooms to read stories. So CaCa said, "Yes, Fred, what is your question?" Fred said, "How many books can we get each week to take home?" "Well," said CaCa, "that is a very good question. I know some of you really enjoy reading, but we will check out only one book each week." "Okay," said Fred. No one else had a question, so CaCa said, "Okay, everyone, we have 10 minutes left before you must return to your classroom, so I want everyone to look around at the books and think about what you might want to get next week to take home." Everyone enjoyed looking around at the books, and before Julia knew it, Miss CaCa said, "Okay, everyone, 10 minutes is up, so it's time to line up to return to your classroom." And with that, Julia's first time at the library ended. Julia couldn't wait until next week when she could actually get a book to take home. So, everyone, just like Julia likes to read books, that's how we should read our Bible. Even if we only read a few verses or one chapter a day, make it a habit of doing it every single day. Moment for a Bible verse. Our Bible verse today comes from 2 Timothy chapter 2, verse 15. And there in our Bible it says, "Study to show yourself approved to God, a workman that does not need to be ashamed, rightly dividing the word." Thank you for being here today. I hope you enjoyed this story, and I hope you'll come back again. See you next time here on Wanna Hear a Story with Grammy. Toodles for now. Bye.